but like, where's Jay at? He's mad quiet. Like while the Puffy thing was going on. But it's now that his team was being made aware that he was in those allegations also.
Not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
It seems like 50 Cent has set his sights on someone new after the Diddy Netflix documentary. If you aren't aware, 50 Cent has been getting insane feedback from the Netflix documentary he made on Diddy.
So 50 Cent just announced the next chapter of the Diddy documentary, and as many people expected, it's the part where those Jay Z tapes finally get released. Now 50 isn't the first person to put Jay Z and Diddy's names in the same sentence, but this time it hits different because we all know if 50 says he's got the tapes, then he's got the tapes. But what's even crazier about all this is the timing, because all of this is coming after 50 Cent allegedly had to fight tooth and nail to avoid getting dragged into a lawsuit by Diddy's camp, who didn't want him to release the other tapes he has in his possession. And the question is, if 50 Cent has already released the documentary, why is Diddy's team still trying to block it? Is it because there's something on there that could implicate more powerful people like Jay Z?
So 50 just posted this little caricature of Jay Z, and y'all, don't let the sketch fool you. This wasn't just a joke. This was 50 doing what he always does, talking loud without saying a single sentence. But let's be real, Jay Z and Diddy weren't strangers. They were acquaintances. They were friends.
Okay, so did anyone else notice that Jay Z was not featured in the Diddy documentary at all? Like, not even one shot, not a single mention of his name at any point. I mean, everyone else around Diddy caught heat, from J-Lo to Biggie to his mother Janice. So, for someone who was literally Diddy's best friend before his life went downhill, it's very suspicious that he didn't get an appearance at all. However, it would turn out that there's a very specific reason why Jay Z was completely removed from the documentary, and it has to do with the tapes 50 has tying Jay Z into all this. 50 recently confirmed that he really does have those tapes in an IG post saying, "Yes, I have the footage, LOL." And that's not a coincidence, because if there's one thing we know about 50 Cent now, it's that he doesn't bluff. It's either he's spitting straight facts or not saying anything at all. But here's where it gets wild. According to insider reports, Netflix allegedly cut out an entire episode from the Diddy documentary, which was supposed to be called The Jay Z Files. They also allegedly had some serious issues with 50 that almost resulted in the project being shelved entirely. Why? Because 50 was apparently fighting really hard to have more creative control over the documentary, because there were some things about Jay Z he wanted to make sure the world saw. However, Netflix management didn't want this to happen, because Jay would have buried the project under lawsuits and stopped it from ever being released. And it makes people wonder, if Jay Z was willing to bully Netflix into not linking him to a documentary about his friend, then just how bad was the content of those tapes? Now, before getting into the tapes or what was inside, it's important to note one thing. Diddy and Jay Z weren't just colleagues who happened to become friendly with each other. They were best friends, closer than most real-life brothers are. Remember when Diddy said only Jay and his mother were allowed to call him by his first name? Sean? Yeah, they were that close. But their friendship also went beyond brotherhood and inside jokes to something even more sinister. Around the time that Diddy first got exposed, Jay Z immediately cut all ties with him, at least publicly. And that wasn't because Jay was so appalled by Diddy's actions. It was damage control. Jay was trying to make it seem like he wasn't even that close to Diddy to protect himself from the fallout of those lawsuits and federal investigation. But Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, who worked with Diddy for years and saw a lot of disturbing things that Diddy did, basically called Jay Z a liar. He said he knew for a fact that Jay Z and Diddy weren't just hanging with each other and playing football.
How close was Diddy and Jay Z? They was close enough that they wasn't playing basketball, they wasn't playing baseball, they wasn't playing football, and they wasn't playing hockey or soccer for Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his ass, and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but Jay Z.
They were in those freak-offs together, doing all the twisted things Diddy was accused of. He even said they used to have matching white girls, and when they saw each other, they'd be like, "Hey, how's your skinny white girl doing?" And that's not the kind of closeness you get by just watching a few movies together. It's the kind you get when you know each other's deepest secrets.
And you trying to say that you're not close to somebody. You coming on stage, patting them on their ass, and then you making a broad statement to the public, can't nobody call me Sean but Sean Carter. And I heard Jay Z said the same thing about them. But they were so close that they had matching white girls together. Because when they used to see each other, they used to say, "Yo, how your skinny white girl doing?" He'd be like, "Yo, how your skinny white girl doing?" So,
Around the same time Gene Deal made these claims, members of Diddy's former band, Da Band, came out and confirmed that Diddy once made them walk all the way across town for some cheesecake. And this story is important because it's not the cheesecake or the walking across town that's the most disturbing part. It's the part where apparently this cheesecake was supposed to be for Beyonce because she started feeling a little peckish during a freak-off. But here's how you know Jay Z will do anything to avoid getting exposed. Remember when Jaguar Wright appeared on Piers Morgan's show and exposed Jay Z and Beyonce for being worse than Diddy?
Not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
Now, that episode featured a couple of other guests who also discussed the Diddy situation and Jay-Z's connection. However, Jaguar's segment was deleted so quickly that it almost gave the audience whiplash. And it's because Jaguar was exposing why people are so afraid to talk about Jay-Z and Beyonce, and she was naming names. Next thing you know, the entire segment gets deleted, and Piers Morgan is forced to make a public apology to Jay-Z. If someone is so powerful that they can make whole conversations disappear from major platforms, then you know they'll do anything to stop a pesky documentary from ruining their perfectly crafted image. The only question is, what is so big that it's worth using so much power to cover up? And that's where 50 Cent comes in, because according to insiders, what 50 wants to expose next isn't just about Jay-Z having a few skeletons, it's about him literally being a worse version of Sean Combs. Again, 50 isn't the first to make this claim. Even before the documentary or lawsuits went viral, Jaguar Wright had already gotten into trouble for revealing that Jay-Z was a smarter and much more dangerous version of Diddy, which is why Diddy is behind bars, while he isn't. But it goes even deeper than that. According to reports, one of the things 50 got in those tapes is tell-all interviews from all the women Jay allegedly messed with when they were much younger, some of whom he has kids with that he never acknowledged. Now, we all saw that Jay-Z recently beat his case against Rymir Satterthwaite, the young man who claimed Jay was his father. But what Jay's team conveniently left out was the fact that Rymir's mother was only a teenager when Jay allegedly messed with her. His godmother later revealed that Jay and his team were already negotiating with them to figure out how Jay would re-enter Rymir's life. He even wanted to get Rymir signed up to a record label to push his music career. However, Jay suddenly stopped all communication without explanation. That's what forced Rymir to file the lawsuit. And that's just one child. Industry insiders believe Jay has multiple of them, with some even saying there might be up to 15 children out there that Jay hasn't claimed. 15 lives buried under millions of dollars of hush money and ironclad NDAs. 50 Cent wanted to bring some of these women forward with full receipts and legal documents. But Netflix put its foot down and said it was too risky. And with the amount of pressure they were under from Jay's legal team, it's no wonder they didn't want to expose themselves to that legal liability. But that doesn't even begin to cover half of what 50 Cent wanted to expose about Jay-Z. And honestly, that might be the least controversial part of it all, because for this next part, 50 already had verified sources lined up, people who could corroborate the stories, timelines, records, everything. And it has to do with how his record label got certain female artists, especially Rihanna, to sign with them. Now, Jaguar Wright once made a very bold claim about how Jay-Z got Rihanna over to the US all those years ago, and the one word that describes it is trafficking.
Rihanna was trafficked to Def Jam.
She was an innocent baby when she came over here. And look
She
at
was
her now.
14 going on 15 years old. Flown over without parental supervision. in a private plane by a man who was supposed to be a producer who auditioned her at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Now, before you roll your eyes at Jaguar again, it's important to remember that most of what she's saying has already been verified by Rihanna and Jay Z themselves. Ree was only 16 when she bundled into a private jet with multiple grown men and shipped from her hometown in Barbados to the US. Even more important, Rihanna had no parental supervision. It was basically her and her dreams. And there have been some disturbing rumors that Jay actually paid Rihanna's father millions of dollars to let her travel with him alone. And what does that sound like? On top of that, Rihanna later revealed that she was actually not sure if she wanted to sign the contract at first, but Jay basically bullied her into it by dangling her off the window of a multi-story building.
We don't sing songs here, we sing artists. And there was this little pause, and I was nervous. But then he said, and we're interested. And there was this sudden feel of relief.
But then he said something about a window and a door.
Oh, then he said, he did it homework.
I did a lot of homework on you, Miss Lady.
He said, there are two ways to leave here, either through the door with the jewel sign or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.
And then there's the rumors that Rihanna was Jay-Z's mistress for years after she got.
So here it is. Chris Brown has his first herpes outbreak from a celebrity girlfriend who he was set up with, and it was supposed to be this and it was supposed to be that, and he was there so people wouldn't pay attention to the fact that she was Jay Z, underage. Jay Z gave her the herpes that she gave to Chris Brown. And that first night, when he had that outbreak and he busted in the house and said, "Where the f is this dirty?" I can't fault him for that. He had this is beautiful, tall, wonderful. Chris Brown, she didn't ruin him. She ruined him at 19 years old. He's got the Jay Z herpes.
Oh,
And it's unfair. Because now that's a part of his story. And Rihanna ain't innocent. Because she was in there giving that in the coat closet when Chris Brown came in. He said, "You always something." Then he said, "I'm done with you." And he stormed out of his house, got into his very expensive car, and Rihanna chased after him. She gets in the car and started fighting on him because he embarrassed her for calling her and saying in front of everybody that she gave him the herpes at his house the night before the Grammys. She in the car trying to f him up. They're speeding on the Pacific Coast Highway, and you know Pacific Coast Highway, very steep. She could have killed the both of them fighting him while he was trying to just get the f away from her.
But somehow, a man who can do all of this and pass it off as a little jokey joke wants everyone to believe he doesn't have even bigger skeletons he's hiding. But here's where everything flips. All of these shady dealings and weird secrets are what 50 Cent wanted to expose in his documentary. He wanted people to ask the hard questions, demand accountability, and force the conversation surrounding how these powerful men use their money to get away with almost anything. By shutting it down, Netflix deprived everyone of that moment. But here's the catch. 50 Cent has never let a simple no stop him from exposing whoever needs to be exposed. And that's why there are now rumors that he could be working on securing another contract with a different company to release the next documentary. This time it'll be unfiltered, and every single dirty detail will be forced to the surface. And that's where this whole thing gets uncomfortable, because 50 didn't walk away from this story. He got blocked. Netflix didn't just say no, they panicked, which tells you this wasn't about creative differences. It was about protection. So, if 50 already showed what happens when one powerful man runs out of leverage, then the real question is, how far will they go to protect Jay Z this time? Because once those tapes are released from the archives, there's no telling how big this story will become and who will get caught up in the downfall.